Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to round number 1 here of season 22. We are in tier 4 and tonight we are racing in Las Vegas. Alongside me here in the commentary box for tonight's action is Ryan Hurren. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Good, looking forward to it, back on the WOR comms. You know, been a healthy break, but yeah, looking forward to one of my favourite circuits really.
Yeah, all new season also means an all new lineup for the drivers as well. So we can have a quick look. It's slightly out of date for this driver lineup. But these are the drivers that we have got here racing in this season. Should be quite a competitive season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with many of the drivers. I know Lawrence Patton from, you know, elsewhere. Last season, there was Timon Van Vincent as well, who was, you know, relatively strong contender in Tier 3, you know, always in with a shout at points, so I reckon we're in for an absolute banger.
Yeah, quite a few drivers, I think, who definitely could shake things up. And as for the calendar for this season, we start things off here in Las Vegas. Next week, we are heading out to Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. We've got Monza for round 3, Jeddah round 4, Mexico City round 5, marking the halfway point of the season. Then we head to Montreal. Then we've got Austria, Bahrain, assuming that gets fixed, China and Sao Paulo to round out the season. 10-round season here for season 22. I think a really great selection of tracks. So let's have a look at the lobby, see how we're getting on. I think we've got a couple more people left to join here until we can get things going. But I think definitely going to be an interesting race here tonight. Las Vegas, quite an exciting track as well, racing-wise. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this track?
I mean, Vegas for me, I'm sorry about before, I've accidentally knocked my mic unplugged. But, oh, it's not the first time I've done that either. But Vegas, it's a unique circuit in a sense of it's a street track. It's very cold, and also the Vegas Strip, you know, I think, is it the longest straight in Formula 1 at the minute? Or if not second longest, so...
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and it's a personal favourite for me just because of the overtaking opportunities, which you don't get at conventional street circuits. Obviously into turn 14 and also into turn 1 if you can get a really good run and stick close through the final corner. But yeah, I think it is underrated in terms of the racing it provides.
Yeah, extremely low wings as well. Might give us some chances for some overtakes potentially. It's also going to make that middle sector really, really tricky to navigate. Trying to carry as much speed as you possibly can. Maximising the potential, especially in qualifying when you're pushing so hard to that limit. Managing tyres, I think, as well, is going to be a crucial point come the race.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it will most likely be a one-stop. But obviously, street circuit safety cars could play into it. And yeah, it could really... spice up this race.
Yeah, so I think we are just going to be waiting a minute or two more, just waiting for Tom97 now to get into the lobby, which he has just joined now. So he will be selecting his car in just a moment, and then we will be heading over to the track very, very soon. Do you want to talk us quickly through a lap around the Las Vegas circuit?
I'd love to. So heading in towards turn 1, heavy braking, tipping the car around turn 2, then switching to the double right-hander of 3 and 4. DRS open down the straight towards turn 5, braking, just hopping over the curb on the inside, and then dragging the car out wide on the exit, keeping tight to the inside of turn 6, but running wide to open up turn 7 into the sort of Las Vegas sphere section. Hopping around turn 8 and 9, which are very janky and quite difficult corners, then flowing through 10 and 11 into the tricky braking zone of 12, especially with the gargantuan curb on the inside. Then the nothing kink of turn 13 just before the DRS, down the Las Vegas strip into the heaviest braking zone on the circuit into turn 14, hopping over the curves of 15 as well. And then narrowly, you want to get as tight to the wall as you can through turn 16 without doing a colapinto, and then running it out wide and cutting to the inside of turn 17 to the line, which is a very scary corner, especially side by side when racing. But that is a lap here at the Las Vegas street circuit.
Yeah, and I think an interesting track as well, as we've already said. There's so many different characteristics. That middle sector is going to be so tricky for them to nail. I think another thing that they're going to have to be focused on is track limits. Although it's a street track, there are quite a few corners where you have to cut it very tight to those curbs. I'm thinking of the corner, turn 12, heading on towards the strip. You have to cut that corner so tight, and maybe if you bottom out on the curb or just turn it a tiny bit too early, it could really spell disaster for your lap and potentially even cost you quite dearly in the qualifying session as well. We are now heading in towards the game as well, so we can head over and see some images. And as... That's the wrong button. There we go. As we would expect here in the Nevada desert, it is going to be dry running here for qualifying. We've got all 20 drivers here on the grid tonight as well, a full lobby to kick things off here in Season 22, and a couple of cars already heading out onto the track.
Yeah, I believe the first car on the track is Justin Ertz, I'm going to say. What do you reckon?
I mean, I'd say that's probably a good guess. I think we will learn slowly throughout the season how everybody likes to be called, how their names are pronounced, and hopefully we will get things as close as possible. But yeah, should be hopefully close enough. I think he'll know who we're talking about, though. Worst comes to worst. But we've got quite a few cars out there on the track right now as qualifying has just got underway. I think maybe expecting 3 runs potentially from some of the drivers here in this qualifying session. Probably not going to be using those soft tyres come the race.
No, I don't think the softs are a viable tyre at all around this track. It's cold, so you struggle to warm them up, and then you can burn them up really quick. And you can see there, Justin Ertz has taken the bollard out on the exit of turn 12 there. So I wonder if that's just getting it out of the way, if it is the ideal racing line. I'm sure we'll see the same coming towards turn 14 as well. Because on this game, they are weirdly proportioned, aren't they, those barriers?
Yeah, it is a little bit interesting, and the curbs as well. You can be really aggressive with them, a lot more than you would say in real life. A lot of the time you'd have to kind of drive around the curb, especially that one going onto the straight. It's quite a high curb. So the fact that the car doesn't really bottom out too much is quite interesting. But nonetheless, here we go through turn number 17 to kick the first lap of Season 22 off in towards turn 1 and 2. We've already got a yellow flag out as well. One of the Aston Martins has gone off down at turn 5. Managed to get back going, but that's not how you want to be starting your qualifying session.
No, it was Lawrence Patton. He doesn't seem to have any wing damage. He left the pits quite a while ago, really, so he's taking it really slow down that straight. We'll head back to Justin now, who got very close to the wall on the exit there at turn 5, running it out wide into turn 7 and hopping over the curbs. As you said, you can ride them quite a bit. And through turn 9, which is, I'm going to be frank, a horrible, more than 90-degree turn. And now it's just sweeping at 10 and 11. He heads towards turn 12.
Yeah, and such a crucial corner to absolutely maximise your exit, coming towards the end of Sector 2. an extremely long run down towards the next braking zone. DRS going to open up about halfway down as well. It's quite a short DRS zone relative to the straight, but it would be a little bit overpowered if you started it back much further, really. I think they had to shorten it after a year or two. But yeah, down towards the braking zone, coming towards the end of this lap. How competitive do you think this time is going to be?
So, based on what I've been reading in the chats, anything that is worse than a 29 is not competitive at all. I'm expecting pole to be in the low 29s here, and that is a 31-0 for Justin. So we see Vettel there with a 30.8, and there Jeremy Galonia with a 29.7, Pesci with a 30.2, and Leonard Deckers with a 30.1. Nathan Pillane with a 29.8 as well, and the times are going to be flying in here. Tymon Van Vincent 31.1, Tom 97 30.5, Nico Rasenberg 30.0, and we have many more cars to come. As Invasizo with a 30.2, Thunderino with a 30.1. We got the other Ferrari now starting a lap. Williams of I think it's Liam Doherty coming up to the line. Is going to set a 30.8. Thomas Balcher next over the line with a 30.1. And we've got both Mercedes cars, as that was Kevin West with a 30.8 and Victor Garcia with a 30.2. And that is the first bulk of laps completed. Yeah,
quite a bit of field spread, although I think that's kind of expected. Jeremy, 10th of a second clear up at the front, looking quite strong as one of the Alpines getting very close to the barriers there. Umut as he came on towards the strip, fortunately not picking up any damage, but that's probably compromised his exit, although I think he's going to pick up a bit of slipstream here as there is traffic carnage here heading down Las Vegas Boulevard, trying to navigate his way through, hoping he doesn't lose too much time here as cars coming back to the pit lane. There's a couple making their way through for their laps. Doesn't look like he's going to be too affected by the traffic, though. In fact, might have picked up a small slipstream as a result as well. But here he comes now through the final corner. Got Mikhail in front of him as well, who goes 10th fastest. He goes 12th fastest on a 30.6. 0.8 of a second off our fastest time for now. But quite a few drivers, especially in that mid-pack, very, very close together. Thomas Bauker, Leonard Deckers, 1,000th of a second separating them from P5 and 6.
Yeah, hadn't even noticed that we have got incredibly close times already. I think that was Sinan that just came over the line and set a 30.6, only 38 milliseconds behind the car in front. I think it's just Jerem and Lawrence who are on laps now. You can see Jerem having, to avoid the traffic. Oh, he looked a bit compromised through turn 15. And almost hitting the wall on the exit, but it seemed kind of as well of a job as you can make of it. And now up to the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 30.2 P8 for Jerem, and Lawrence Patton invalidated. So that is his lap done with. And the Aston Martin driver, I believe, yeah, he's coming into the pits.
Yeah, so only driver without a time on the board there, the Aston Martin of Lawrence Patton. His teammate currently sitting in P15 as well. Definitely going to be looking to find some time. As it stands, 1.3 seconds between first and 19th. I expect some of those drivers probably going to hope that they can find a little bit more time as they make their way through this session. Got 11 minutes left to go though, so still plenty of time for the drivers to get some times on the board. We have got a couple drivers out there on laps as well. Tom 97 just navigating some traffic as he makes his way to the line. A 10th of a second up on his first time. Let's see where he can put himself now as he comes through the final corner across the line. Finds another position with a 130.4.
Yeah, he lost about a 10th in the final sector there. I don't know if that was influenced by traffic at all. But yeah, unfortunate there for Tom. I'm surprised he's done 2 runs on the same set of tyres. Maybe, mate. I don't know. Is he planning to save a set for the race then? Would you think by doing that?
I would potentially think he's going to try and do 4 quali laps here. He can probably get back to the pits in about a minute now. That would give him 9 minutes left on the clock. I think there's enough time there for him to do another 2 laps still. In which case, he's given himself a 4th run compared to a lot of the other drivers. And that's just a little bit extra experience, a little bit extra time to try and put that perfect lap together here in this qualifying session. Just trying to dial yourself into that 100%. I think that might help him out a little bit, although currently sitting outside the top 10, got a little bit more work to do if he wants to try and get up there in the fight for pole position.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. I mean, yeah, just under 7/10 there, which, to be fair, isn't that much in the grand scheme. He's about halfway between first and last at the minute. So is there anyone else? Is Timon started a lap?
Yeah, I think he has just started his lap, yeah.
So Timon Van Vincent, who I commentated over last season in Tier 3. Surprised to see him down in Tier 4. But I'm certain he's got more pace than this. I've just noticed as well, there is also only 1 millisecond splitting Vettel and Kevin West. So, is it West?
Kevin West, I would say. Yeah. I think we'll find out after this race. We might have a couple chats with some of the drivers who were struggling a bit with the pronunciations. But nonetheless, yeah, making his way through now towards Las Vegas Boulevard in towards turn 12. Really, really tricky braking zone. How much of that curb does he take? Attacking it quite a lot on the inside there. And he's half a second up. He was the furthest off, 1.3 seconds off of the provisional pole time. That half a second improvement already jumping him up towards about P13. And there's still another sector to go, another couple corners left to come.
He could get a bit of a toe off of the Aston Martin here that has pulled off to the left, but yeah, decides that it's not worth the risk. Oh no, he's run wide and then cut the curb of turn 15. So that is Van Vincent's lap over. I have a feeling he's going to go to the end just to see what it would have been. It would have been a 1:30.3, and that would have been P11.
Yeah, unfortunate stuff. His teammate was also on a lap, invalidated 0.4 of a second almost up. That would have put himself in contention for provisional pole position, but not going to get a lap on the board in the end. A couple drivers coming round, starting laps, I think. We'll keep an eye in case anybody is coming to the end of their lap here. Nico Rassenberg in P3 just starting a lap as well. Both McLarens out for their second runs here. Anybody else? I think Justin Ertz, yeah, coming towards the end of his lap. 1/10 of a second up through the first two sectors. Might be looking to find a little bit more, though, come the end of this. Is there time in that final sector? Only finds 1/10 of a second, stays in P18. As we have got an improvement up at the top, Thunderino in the Williams has just jumped up to P3 on a 30.001.
Yeah, that's a brilliant improvement there for Thunderino. As I believe it's one of the Racing Bulls cars that is going to be next over the line. It's going to be Pesci. Although no, he's abandoned his lap. He comes into the pits. So now we wait on the Mercedes of Kevin West. As he's now powering towards the start-finish line through turn 17. And it's going to be a 1:30.6, P15. So he's improved one position. The other Mercedes of Victor Garcia goes up to P4. Lawrence Patton up to P2 with a 29.8. He's finally found time here. Next over the line is Vettel, who goes to 7th there with a 30.1. And then we've got the Haas of Michael Kuzela, who is going to be next. He's currently just over a 10th up. And it's going to be P8 with another 30.1 lap time here. I think Rasenberg has... oh no, it was Jeremy who finished the lap, didn't improve. Rasenberg failed to improve. Next is going to be Sinan, who sets a 1:30.2 up to P11. So the times are already tumbling here, Josh.
Yeah, Jeremy was on to do a 27.5 there. He lost 2.5 tenths in the final sector. With a good final sector, he could be on for a potential 0.4 here, and that would put him about 0.4 of a second clear of his next closest rival. He has got some extremely impressive pace here, and I think could be one of the drivers in contention for pole. Jerem 97, 2.5 tenths up as well as he makes his way down the strip. Couple of cars getting out of his way here. Let's see if he can find any improvement. Those 2.5 tenths could get him up to about P5.
Yeah, heading into turn 14, he needs to nail this braking now, as turning the car in over the curb. It looks like he's managed just that, running the car out to the outside. And now he needs to take a perfect line through turn 17. Commits to the corner now, and it's a 29.9, and it's P4 for Jerem 97.
Almost 0.4 of a second found on that lap. He has put himself right into contention there, potentially to try and fight for the race win. All he's got to do is put another lap like that together in the next 5 minutes, and he could be in with an amazing shot at a potential pole position to kick off season 22 here in Tier 4. Couple drivers now making their way back around to the pit lane, but pretty much everybody just waiting for that clock to tick down. We have got one of the Alpines heading out onto the track a little bit early, and that is going to be Umut in the Alpine there, making his way out, maybe looking to do a double out lap here, burn off a bit of fuel and try and give himself the best opportunity on this final run.
It is certainly a known tactic to try and burn off the fuel. Yeah, we've got 4 minutes left. We finally see now that the yellows have cleared. I think Jerem should make it back in time. Yeah, he'll make it back. But yeah, it is definitely interesting that Umut has gone out this early. I mean, you normally see the double out at tracks like Zandvoort or Imola, where you've got higher fuel loads, like Austria. But Vegas, you can run 2.5 laps and easily burn it just by holding gear on your out lap to get it down to nearly 1. But yeah, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, we've got Timon out on the track as well, currently sitting down in P20. Of course, I think there is definitely pace to be found in his lap, 1.4 seconds off.
Yeah.
He had that invalidation when he was already half a second up. I think he's probably going to need to find a little bit more, though, if he wants to keep himself in contention. You're probably looking to try and get into those low 1-minute 30s for a decent time, and into the 29s if you want a really, really great lap. We'll keep an eye on Umut, though, now as he makes his way through the final few corners, just to keep an eye and see if he is going to start pushing here and go for a bit of an early lap to try and avoid some of the potential traffic carnage that we could be seeing come the end of this session. His battery is on, so I think we might be seeing a push lap here from the Alpine driver, currently sitting in P16. Needs to find a couple tenths here if he wants to try and jump some positions.
I would be very surprised if he commits to this lap, because he's just massively dropped the rear through turn 1 and 2 there. He was almost in the pit exit, but he's still going now into the braking zone and around turn 5. We'll see if he's up on his time. And he's a 10.5 up, despite the massive snap on the rear. So clearly finding the time still, massively riding the curbs through 7 and 8 as well. And now tipping it around through 9. It looks like he's managed to get on the power well as well. And now through 10 and 11, he's going to have 3 cars in front of him towards the line. Oh, did he lock the rears? I think he just locked the rears there. And yeah, he's dropped over a 10th in the middle sector now. So hopefully for his sake, he can find the time in the final few corners.
He has backed off here.
Has he backed off?
His DRS was closed heading down the straight just briefly. We'll see what he does do here, but I don't think we're going to be seeing an improvement here from the Alpine. I might be wrong, though. We'll wait and see.
I think the DRS zone is just that short now.
That might be the case, actually. We were talking about that. But, you know, he lost about half a second in that first sector to our purple sector. He has actually found a small improvement, but not a position found, unfortunately, for Umut. And I think, unless he can charge that badge up and go for another lap, I think that is going to be his qualifying done and dusted.
Yeah, he doesn't have time. He needs to do 1 minute, like 15 to get around in time to do another. But we do have Timon, who is heading down the Vegas strip now. Cars in front, piling their way through turn 14. And is that Williams going to get out of the way in time for the Red Bull car? Oh, as he hits the wall on the exit there. Thank God for F1 game physics. But now heading up towards the line, it's a 1 minute 30.5. It's not the 30.3 he invalidated, but it's still enough for P17 there for Timon Van Vincent. Next over the line is, I think, going to be the Racing... No, it's the Haas of
Mikhail
Kuzella.
Sits on a 1 minute 30.173. He's 0.2 of a second up. This could be a lap to try and get himself into the 1 minute 29s. The checkered flag has now come out, so no more laps can be started. I think everybody who was hoping to get a lap in, though, is now on their lap. So that shouldn't worry any of the drivers. Mikhail now up towards the line. Can he find himself a solid spot here in the top 10? Sits P10 currently, comes across the line, and he jumps to 6th, 29.940. A couple more drivers coming up now. In Vasizo, P11 only for him, 1 minute 30.1. Lots more drivers now through the final corner. One of the Ferraris jumps up into the top 10. Sinan there, nice lap from him. Who else do we have coming around now? Quite a few.
We've got Pesci and Tom 97. Pesci doesn't improve, neither does Tom 97. We've got the Red Bull of Lennart Deckers now coming across the line, and it's a 1 minute 30.1. Next, we've got the Mercedes of Victor Garcia up to P3. Then Lawrence Patton doesn't improve on his lap. Now we've got the Sauber, that's Nathan Poulain, who doesn't improve. Liam Doherty up to P16. Then that is Vettel, who doesn't improve either. So a lot of people failing to improve. Jerem with a 1:29.7 take provisional pole. Next car is Kevin, who doesn't improve. Then we got the McLaren of Nico Rasenberg in P4. And then Jeremy Galonia, he improves, but not enough. And
He didn't.
It looks to me, wait, did he not?
He was 0.2 of a second up coming in towards the final corner, and he lost all of that time. He was 0.3 of a second down. That pole position looked secured for him, and he's thrown it all away in the final corners of the lap, and that's going to allow the Alpine to snatch it away by 0.08 of a second.
Did you see there was a yellow flag through the final corner? Do you reckon he ran out of fuel?
Maybe. That could be a possibility. But no, yeah, 34.7 by Jerem in the final sector, 35.0 by Jeremy. He lost 3.5 tenths in that final sector, and it has cost him pole position by 0.08 of a second. Top 5 less than a tenth covering them as well. A very, very competitive grid that we have got here heading in towards this 25-lap race.
Yeah, I mean, what, the top 5, yeah, under a tenth. So it's hard to call, isn't it?
Yeah, well, based on that qualifying session, I think we're in for quite a treat of a race here. Yeah, 2 tenths covers the top 7. That's just over 1.5 tenths, in fact. If these drivers have got similar race pace to their quali pace, I think anybody probably in that top 10 could have a potential shot at victory. It could very well come down to the strategy calls here. Do you try and go for the undercut to gain some track position? Go for the overcut maybe? Give yourself better tyres at the end to try and fight your way through the field. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Who do you think is your shot for the win here today, though?
I mean, given the... Obviously, we're very limited on context. I'm not familiar with the drivers. I'm going to say, I mean, Jerem was fastest in quali. It was Jeremy who made a mistake, so if the same happens again, Jerem definitely looks on course for the win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one to call. I'm going to go with Nico Rasenberg, though, for the win. Starting in P4, he seemed pretty consistent throughout that qualifying session. Got the lap together at the end of the session. We are headed down to the grid note now, though, and we have got 5 lights on ahead of the drivers, and we are racing here in Las Vegas. A very, very short hole for the drivers. Jeremy, I think, getting caught out a little bit on that start. We're heading 3 wide in towards the first corner already. Contact there. One of the Aston Martins getting caught out, and Williams going straight on as well. Down at turn 1, Jeremy not able to get the jump. He needed to try and take the lead, but Chaos further behind, helping those out at the front to try and already build a 0.6 of a second margin. Victor Garcia already up to 3rd here on the start as we head now in towards turn 5. Lawrence trying to fight back against Nico Rasenberg. Can't quite find it. Further behind, cars going 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 as they make their way through in towards the middle sector now. Jerem still holding his lead. That is crucial for the start of this race.
And they're going 3 wide into the turn 7 there. Both RBs and the Aston Martin. And this is incredible racing off the start. So it's Thunderino who ended up in the barrier. He has broken his wing as well, and he hooked onto the front left tyre of Nathan Poulain, and unfortunately just got spat out into the barrier as Simon Van Vincent is going for the move on Thomas Valtra now into turn 12. Side by side they go, managing to keep it out of the barriers. There's a lot of wheel banging going on this opening lap. Just tyre face to tyre face contact. And we've got Mikhail Kozella and Lawrence. I think Lawrence has made a mistake because he was running P5 right behind Nico Rasenberg. But is he going to be able to go for the move on Mikhail Kozella around the outside? Yes, he's going to go for it now. And through turn 16, it's Lawrence Patton in the Aston Martin that has come out ahead. Nico Rasenberg going for the move around the outside of Victor Garcia. Can he make it stick? He's going to pull to the inside for turn 1.
Oh, big crash in the back!
Crash behind! Massive accident as Mikhail Kozella has hit the barrier. There's a racing bulls around as well. That's Inversito who's spun at turn 1. What is going on here under the Las Vegas City? And that is Nathan Lane getting past Sinan as well as they're going side by side. Oh, no, Nathan goes for the move on Lawrence. But what happened with the hats there for him to be perpendicular to the circuit?
Absolutely chaotic.
Sorry, Josh, he's gone for the move again, and they've both gone off. Vettel and Kozella have both gone off. Tom 97 getting involved as well. And there was a wheel hook between the Haas and the Aston. And Mikhail seems to be struggling a lot here, as Timon Van Vincent also getting involved. But the wing damage is going to massively compromise Kozella through these next corners. And I think he's run wide. He's gone down the escape road. And that is Mikhail Kozella dropping to the rear of the field here, as he had to bail out of the corner. And chaos is the only way to describe this.
Yeah. Battles up and down the field. Things maybe already starting to boil over here in round 1. And quite a chaotic opening few laps. Tom 97 up to 11th. Been a pretty good start for him. Let's have a quick look at the tyres they're running. It's a bit of a split between the mediums and the hards. Nathan Poulain, Lawrence Patton, Vettel, Tom 97, Umut and Liam Doherty on the hard compound tyres. Here into turn 1, we've got Sinan looking around the outside of Lawrence on those medium tyres, looking to try and use that advantage with his tyre offset to try and build this gap, try and put himself further ahead of the cars behind as well. Not quite working out there as we have had our first retirement. Mikhail calling it quits here, is down towards turn 5 we go. The Red Bull going extremely tight to the inside, looking to try and take P7 there. Had to back out of that one though, not quite far enough alongside. Nico Rasenberg did manage to get himself ahead of Victor Garcia as well. It's a McLaren 2-3 as it stands in towards the Mickey Mouse section here. Leonard not quite getting close enough there. Thought about a move just for a brief moment, but not able to get that one done there. Up at the front, the gap's closing in as well. Jeremy still sticking close to Jerem. Close battle here for the lead, and I think we could be seeing a swap of positions very, very soon.
Yeah, towards the back as well, you know, Thomas Falcon and Justin Air fighting for a bit of a wooden spoon at the minute, P15. But it's insane battling for all positions here. Contact with the wall on the exit at turn 12 from somebody. But I think Jeremy Galoni is going to go for the move to take P1. And down the Vegas Strip, he takes the lead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And now heavy braking keeps his lead. And Tom 97 going side by side with Timon Van Vincent. He's managed to get ahead comfortably before the braking zone. And now back into P11 here. Van Vincent having a bit of trouble on the rear through turn 15 as well.
Yeah, well, let's see now. Jeremy with the fastest lap. What can he do now that he's in that clean air? Can he try and build a bit of a gap? It's going to be very tough around this circuit, though. With those two DRS things, they're spaced out quite nicely. It gives you a big boost off that middle sector to try and catch up. But you do have quite a few corners. In fact, he's already 0.6 of a second clear of Jerem, who's going to have to put a bit of work here in this middle sector if he wants to try and stick with the McLaren, who definitely seems to be strong here in the races. We've got further behind and move just briefly. Pesci thinking about trying to dive there on the Red Bull of Leonard. Couldn't quite get close enough, though, to try that move. Has to back out and stay down in P9. Still within the points, though, so still looking pretty good as it stands for the V-Carb.
Yeah, Pesci in a brilliant position here. I think he's up quite a few from the start, isn't he? Yeah, up 5 positions already. You've got Timon Van Vincent, who's up 7 as well. And then the likes of Thomas Boucher and Thunderina, who are down 7 and 9 respectively. Inver also down 7. But it looks like Jeremy's managed to pull more of a gap to Jerem than Jerem ever managed to pull on Jeremy. It's very confusing, their names being so similar. But the DRS now open. Rasenberg might potentially go for a move on the Alpine here, but not if the Alpine goes for his teammate first. Pulls to the inside just to ward off the attack from the second McLaren car and managing to hold on to P2. I have a feeling that Jerem might be running more straight line speed on his setup, and therefore that's why he's struggling in the corners, because look how much he's gained just heading towards turn 1 from the exit of turn 16 as he locked the rears on the entry to turn 1 there. Josh?
Sorry, I accidentally muted my mic there. There was only a couple tenths separating Jeremy and Jerem on the second lap, and they were able to stay. Jerem was able to stay ahead despite everything, although the gap now 9/10 of a second. This is not looking great if you're the Alpine sitting in P2. He's going to have to really start to push here through this middle sector if he wants to try and find that DRS come the strip. He has dropped outside that 1 second range. He has got a bit of a straight here to try and close it back in, then a corner, and then a bit of a run towards the detection point. But as it stands, I think this might be Jeremy's chance to try and break away here in this race. Let's see as they make their way through turn number 12. The gap's still 1.1 seconds. It's not looking too great for the Alpine sat in P2, and I think this might be Jeremy's chance as long as he's got the battery here.
Yeah, I mean, the gap increased down the straight as well, so maybe my hypothesis is wrong. But you can see Jerem trying to break any sort of slipstream from Rasenberg there, as nobody going for a move into turn 14. We have had a few swaps down the order. Kevin down the inside of Timon van Vinsen as he moves up into P13. There's Rasenberg going for the move, and he's ahead of Jerem now. On to lap 6, and it's a McLaren of 1-2 in Las Vegas.
Crucial stuff now. Are we going to see some team players there? Rasenberg very nearly losing the car on turn 2 as he got onto the power. That would be a very scary moment for the car sitting in P2 now. The cars behind all bunching up as well as we head towards turn 5. Anybody thinking about a move? Rasenberg having to defend from Duran, who dances his way around the outside. Really great, really late on the brakes. Amazing stuff there from the Alpine. Retakes that P2 position. All the while, all this battling, Jeremy is now almost 3 seconds clear up at the front of the field. He's absolutely flying away with this one. We're only on lap 6 of this race, and he has absolutely flown off into the distance on this lap here. Rasenberg doing everything he can. He's helping his teammates out with this battling as well. Really great start to the season, it seems it could be for the McLaren team.
I'd be surprised if there's, as much team play as you're insinuating in round 1. Oh, Rasenberg's hit the wall on the exit of turn 12 there, clipped his rear, and I think Jerem might just be safe down the straight here. But there is now a massive pack of cars all the way down to P9 who are in this fight for P2 here. Rasenberg getting ever closer. Doesn't go for it. We've got a Ferrari going for the move. I think as Sinan looked to pull out to go for the move on Nathan Pillane, seemed not to commit to it. But yeah, huge train of cars heading down towards turn 1. We've got a yellow flag. That's Timon! Van Vinsen has spun.
Fortunately, no damage, but I think he may be coming to the pits to retire the car. Unfortunate way to kick off season 22 for the Red Bull driver. It is lap 7. Maybe he's going to try something bold with the strategy. Potentially, we'll have to wait and see how things go for him. It is the set of hard compound tyres for him, though.
Very close there between Lawrence Patton, Nathan Pillane, and Sinan Jr. They were bumper to bumper going into turn 5 there, not an inch between them. And we've got even more cars catching up to this train. Now P2 to P11, separated by, it's about 4 seconds.
Yeah, this feels like we're back on F1 24 with how close this train is running in towards turn 12 for almost for a second. Lawrence thinking about a move on the Mercedes there. I don't think we've seen this close racing since when we were back on F1 24 and the cars could run just a couple tenths between each other. Pesci is getting very close to Sinan as they head down the strip, and I think we might be seeing a move or two heading in towards the braking zone in just a moment. Everybody going to have that slipstream as well, though. It's going to come down to battery management in this train. Nico Rasenberg got very close, decides to sit behind for the time being. Jeremy's had a mistake, I think. He's only 1.4 seconds. What's happened to the McLaren driver out in front? His gap has come down like crazy.
Yeah, the gap has halved there. Pesci going for the move. and getting ahead of Sinan as Tom97 gets ahead of Leonard Deckers. Oh, Leonard's pitted. So Leonard pulling the trigger maybe seeing the mistake from Jeremy, realizing that the undercut is possible even for P1 here. I know the undercut is very strong around this circuit, but yeah, potentially a very smart play from the Red Bull.
He lost about a second in the middle sector. I wonder if maybe he had an off. A second in the middle sector and half a second in the final sector. I wonder if he had an off heading on towards the strip, and that's where he's lost that time. Lost a lot of time from going off, and then lost extra time from having a poor exit out of the corner. He has managed to extend that margin now up to almost 2 seconds once again. This is going to make things interesting with the strategy, though. A couple drivers pitting early here. Can they make those hard tyres work all the way to the end of the race? And how much can they gain crucially with the undercut as well? Rear tyres are going to be screaming for dear life at this point in the race. Let's see what these guys can do. Can anybody try and undercut themselves back into the fight with Jeremy potentially?
I think that's what Leonard might be doing. I mean, the hards can run an inhumane amount around this circuit, I know from my own experience. Then again, my experience isn't nearly in the same conditions as these guys. But I guess we will just have to see. I doubt it'll be a 2-stop because it is a very long circuit and a very long... It's not that long a pit lane. But, yeah. Nobody else electing to bite the bullet yet. And it's up to Leonard, really, to make up this gap, isn't it? Oh! Very wide there from the Mercedes. Then Lawrence Patton almost hitting him through turn 2. And, yeah, very close there, perhaps highlighting that the tyres are slowly starting to die. Although Lawrence is on the hards, isn't he? And Tom97 on the hards, getting past his teammate in the Ferrari.
I think those hard tyres are starting to come to some of the drivers here now as we are on lap 9. Those tyres going to start to fall away. Lawrence and Victor battling away as they make their way through past the sphere. Lawrence gets the move up the inside. Victor's still going to stick a nose to the outside. Can't quite find a way through there, unfortunately, though. Those hard tyres starting to come into play and maybe an opportunity here to try and close in on our leading drivers in this train. Try and find his way through and put himself in a potential position for a race victory. He'll have the better tyres come the end of the race as well and might be able to try and charge his way through. It does seem it is definitely possible to overtake at this circuit, though, which I think would have been a worry for some of the drivers heading into this race with such low wings. Everybody's going to be kind of limiting the effects of the DRS as we got our first time penalty. Inversizo picks up a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. That's an instant penalty as well as here towards the end of the strip. Nobody quite getting close enough there. Thought for a second we were almost going to end up 3 wide, but nothing coming just yet. Are we going to see some drivers darting to the pit lane here on lap 9? Looks like most of them choosing to stay out for the time being.
Yeah, so maybe it's looking more like an interesting move from Leonard there as Umut gets past Vettel and up into P10. Vettel not really been making many overtakes, has he? He's just been slowly dropping back, you know, car by car at this point. But I'm sure, is he on? Yeah, he's on the hard, so not too much to worry about. Thunderino, Justin Ertz, and Thomas Balcher all coming into the pits off of the mediums. So we'll see where that gets them. Is Tymon Van Vincent going to come out ahead of them? Yes, he is. And when he pitted, he was 4 seconds off the back of the pack.
Interesting stuff. Maybe that undercut starting to work out a little bit for some of the drivers. Lawrence having a bit of a wide moment as well through the chicane where he went for that overtake just a lap ago, maybe forgetting his braking point slightly. Not too sure what happened for him, but fortunately no positions lost, and he can set his sights back after Jerem and Nico Rasenberg. Jerem has almost broken the DRS. Yeah. Again. He's had another off, and that has been very costly. It's in fact going to cost him the DRS, and Lawrence with a great shot now to get himself up into the podium positions. Nathan Poulan behind as well, also looking to try and challenge Victor Garcia as we head towards the braking zone into the chicane. Inside line for the Aston Martin driver. He takes that position before they hit the brakes, and there Victor Garcia That was very opportunistic. Thought maybe there was a chance as Nico backed out of the move just a moment ago. We've got cars to the pit lane as well. Jeremy and Jerem both deciding to pit here at the end of lap 10. Victor and Nathan and Pesci also following in. Tom 97, I think it was that Sinan, also coming into the pits. Victor Garcia, 10-second penalty for speeding. That is going to take himself out of contention. Unfortunate stuff there for the Mercedes driver. Lawrence and Nico now continue on. They take the lead of this race, but this is where the strategy starts to kick off. How powerful is this undercut going to be?
Leonard, who pitted from P7, is now just outside of a second behind Jeremy. In fact, has he got the DRS there? No, he's not. He's just failed to get in the DRS. But he's 7/10 back from when he pitted. It was, what, about 3 seconds? 3 or 4 seconds for Jeremy?
Yeah,
So
he's definitely gained a little bit of time here. 3-lap-old hard tyres, though, is the cost that he's had to pay for this one. Purple in the first sector on this lap. He is absolutely flying out there, and he is really starting to put the pressure on the net race leader. Can Lawrence and Nico do anything here on their dying medium tyres to try and gain a bit of an advantage here, give themselves some better tyres towards the end of this race? Tom 97 as well on those hard compound tyres, as are a couple of the other drivers up at the front, Lawrence included. Can they try and work this one out now as we head towards the braking zone? Nico is going to go for that move once again, as is Tom 97, I think, to the inside on the Sauber. Gets the move done just about, gets the car stopped. He's going to lose it, though. There's a bit of contact there, I think, as Lawrence losing the back end as well. Into the pit lane comes Nico Rasenberg. Lawrence picking up a bit of slipstream. Obviously not going to come in on those hard compound tyres. There's Tom 97 fighting away as well around the outside through turn number 17. Just about keeps it out of the barrier. He's up to P2 now. Can he try and make these hard tyres work? Can he try and get himself into the net lead of this race as well, potentially?
everybody running on the circuit is now on the hard tyres, and Leonard is really close to the back of Jeremy now. He's going to have the DRS down towards turn 5. It's just Lawrence, Tom, Nathan, Umut, Vettel and Liam that have not pitted yet in this Grand Prix. And you can see that with the gap to the cars behind. Oh, that's Tom 97 and Nathan Pillane both running deep there. That's going to give Lawrence a bit more breathing room. But I don't know. Tom might be in a really good position to get down the inside into turn 14.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. The DRS obviously not going to be as powerful as he would hope. 6/10 is quite a big margin to close. In fact, he's lost a little bit of time there. Although, maybe Lawrence going a little bit deep into the corner. He has gained that back on the exit. 6/10 of a second now is the gap as they run down towards turn number 14. I don't think there's going to be a move happening this time around for the Ferrari driver. DRS is now opened up, but that gap not coming down fast enough. He's going to have to tuck in behind for the time being. But yeah, Leonard, I think the real star of this race as it stands, with that strategy call to pit early. Somebody's hit the wall there, I think, as well. One of the Saubers potentially. Just heard a big clatter with the barriers. Everybody escaping damage-free, though, it seems. But yeah, Leonard up into a net P2 as it stands. Once all the pit stops are made, he is going to be in an incredible position. And just another thing to think about, the leader, Jeremy, the net leader, only 10 seconds off the actual race leader. It's not going to be too much longer before they start catching up to some traffic.
Yeah, Liam Doherty only under 3 seconds ahead now of the oncoming cars, or at least the first two of them. Thunderino setting the fastest lap as he gets past Justin Ertz into turn 1. But I wonder how much more life these hards at the front have. I doubt it's much, but I think they might have picked the wrong strategy. I don't know if they're going to be able to gain enough on the mediums to kind of make up for what they've lost on the hards. I mean, you look, Jeremy's gained, what, over 2 seconds since turn 4 on Liam here. Yeah, well, it's now in his DRS.
Yeah, I think Liam might be struggling a little bit out here. He has lost a lot of time to the cars in front as well. Some of the drivers potentially looking to go near on 20 laps on these hards, though. Maybe these drivers also assuming, given it's a street track, they're going to hang it out for a safety car. Liam going to let these guys go, not going to fight this one. As, yeah, Jeremy coming through. Leonard also going to follow through as well. Both of them going to get some DRS to help their races out as well. It's now a 7-second gap to our leading pack. They have gained 3 seconds in the last lap alone, which means by lap 15, they're going to be back on these guys ready to fight again. I'm just looking at the last lap times. Lawrence, who is now under pressure a little bit from the car behind Vettel, yeah, going for the move, going very deep actually into turn 1. He's off the track, and that is not going to help his endeavours. Might even lose him the DRS here potentially. 35.7 for P1. For P6 on the newer tyres, 33.2, 2.5 seconds faster. As these guys continue to battle away, I think Lawrence may be starting to struggle a little bit. Might be the cork in the bottle for these drivers potentially, or maybe it's just the tyre wear from running 13 laps on these hards. They're going to see the inverse of this, though, later as Lawrence going deep. He is really starting to struggle out there. Tom 97 almost alongside there as they headed onto, well, it's not really a straight here. It's got a couple corners in it. But by the time they get to their pit stops, they're going to be seeing the exact same thing. Did I just see some rain, or am I seeing things? I think I'm just seeing things there. Doesn't look like it's raining at the moment. I would be very surprised. But yeah, I think in a lap or two's time, we're going to start to see our leaders catching up to this battle. Tom 97, not a great exit, heading onto Las Vegas Boulevard. He is very much under pressure from Nathan Pullein as we head down towards the next braking zone. Not quite getting close enough just yet, and Tom 97 trying to close in, almost bump drafting as they head in towards turn number 14. No move just yet here for the Sauber driver, looking to try and get himself a little bit further up the train. But I don't think it's going to be too much longer before we start to see some closing.
Yeah, there we go. They're pitting.
Oh, this is
Lawrence, Nathan and Umut who have come into the pits just as Jeremy gets past them. And you can see Lennart has dropped off from Jeremy as well. It's 2.5 seconds now. But look how far behind these guys are going to come out. I'm just looking. Lennart lost almost 2 seconds, I think, in that final sector. Of course, Jeremy was pushing for the fastest lap, which he did just pick up. But it wasn't a purple final sector, and Lennart a 36.9 compared to, I think, a 35.4. I think Jeremy did. He lost quite a lot of time there, so I expect maybe a mistake through the chicane, maybe went a little bit deep, and that is why he's lost the DRS, but he's still 3 seconds clear of the cars behind, so unless his tyres do fall off a cliff, like we've seen with the other cars who started on the hard compound tyres, Lennart is currently on 7-lap-old hards. He's got another 10 laps to go, so that's going to be another few more laps than what the guys have already done so far. He might have to hope for a safety car to come later on in this race, which maybe was the reason why Tom 97 and Vettel have stayed out as well, because if they do see a safety car, it would put them in quite a nice position. But yeah, not really working out, I think, as Umut has picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. Yeah, Thunderino and Nathan Pullein have been banging wheels all throughout this lap, it feels like. Nathan on the newer mediums compared to slightly used hards. Should be an easy move down the strip now. Yes, it is. And finally, the Sauber clears out Williams, Tom 97 and AZR Vettel. Now, finally coming into the pits. They're going to be doing 10 laps on those mediums. But look how much they've lost to their fellow hard starters. As Lawrence is ahead, Umut is ahead, Nathan is ahead, you know. It's significant, isn't it? Yeah,
I'm just looking at the gap now between Tom and between Lawrence. I mean, it's not terrible. They're still in the same train at least. He's only lost about 2 seconds. He's got a lap pressure tyres. The longest anybody went on the mediums on that first stint was Nico Rasenberg and I think somebody else, one of the Mercedes, Kevin West. 11 laps they did, so it is
Alpine
possible.
Got off. Umut went off, cut the chicane there. And that has cost him a lot of time to Lawrence Patton. Might cost him the DRS overall as Vettel gets past Justin. But yeah, crucial mistake there for Umut as he's now under pressure from Nathan Pullein. Although I think he has burnt the battery and just got into the DRS.
Well, let's see what's going to happen this time around down the strip. I'm just keeping an eye on Victor Garcia's penalty as well. He's got a 10-second time penalty, which is probably going to be quite costly for him. As it stands, that would drop him to about P14. Maybe some battling behind could help him out with this train fighting away. Maybe that drops them further behind. It's up on the front. Pesci looking to put pressure on Jerem round the outside in towards turn 1. This is for a net podium position here as they make their way through, both on the hard compound tyres. Nico Rassenberg, 1 lap fresher hard tyres behind as well. He's going to be eager to get in on this one as they're losing quite a lot of time wheel to wheel through turn number 4. On towards the straight we go, both of them with DRS. In towards turn 5, wheel to wheel. Who's going to be braver on the brakes as they make their way through? Jerem around the outside, holding on to that P4 net P3 position. Nico Rassenberg getting very close now as they head in towards the Mickey Mouse chicane. Going to try his chances around the outside. Is he going to make this one stick? Is it going to work out for him? Not quite just yet, but Pesci having to try and decide between the attack and the defense at the same time, put himself in quite a vulnerable position.
Yeah, brilliant racing between actually 4 of them now, as Sinan has managed to get involved as well, and he's going to be pressuring the German driver all the way down the strip now. But I think one of them has just clouted the wall there. But Pesci, I think, burnt quite a lot trying to get past Jerem there, and that has caused him to drop to 3/4 of a second back, starting the straight. Nico gaining quite a bit now on the Racing Bulls car, and has a think about it, doesn't actually commit. And yeah, it's status quo at the minute.
Yeah, I'm just looking as well. While the battle for the lead might be a little bit far-fetched, Lawrence is only 2 seconds off this battle now, and he is going to have medium tyres, which are going to be a lot faster, and they're about 5 laps fresher. He could be in a pretty good position here. It looked like it might have been over for a brief moment, but I think those medium tyres might start to come to them here in this stint, as the fastest lap just being set there by Vettel down in P14. He is also starting to put some pressure on as Tiedemann comes into the pits, unfortunately to retire, as does Inversizzo. Unfortunate way to kick off season 22 for those drivers.
Yeah, it's not ideal, as Vettel has gotten past Kevin West as well. But as you say, Lawrence is gaining, leaps and bounds at the minute. But I think those mediums are going to fall off just enough to where by the end of the race they are worse than the worn hards. Maybe still better than Lennart Decker's. But, I mean, yeah, Lennart now has Victor Garcia in his DRS.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I think he's going to slowly start to fall back into the battle behind. But, of course, Victor with that time penalty as well. As we said, dropping down to about P14 as it stands. I think that is still the case. In fact, yeah, unfortunate stuff for him to be dropping out of the points despite running in very soon a potential P2 position, as we've got Nico Rassenberg going for the move on Pesci here down the strip. Pesci's going to try and fight back against Jerem, though, down the inside into 14. Goes a little bit deep into the corner, but gets the position crucially. Gets the exit and the run now towards the line, but can Jerem try and fight back and tuck into the slipstream, use some battery and try and get that P4 net P3 position back? Doesn't look like it, and Rassenberg now gaining as well on the Alpine driver. Jerem has to defend to the inside. Rassenberg going to try his chances around the outside here. Not quite working out that time around, but still he is looking very pacey with that lap fresher hard compound tyre. Maybe a chance coming very, very soon. Lawrence now 1.2 seconds off. He's almost into the DRS of this battle. This could be a very great turn of events for the Aston Martin driver in the next few moments. We're on lap 19 of 25. Still not really seen very much damage at all from any of the drivers. Everybody keeping it pretty clean so far here on the streets of Vegas.
Yeah, it's been quite good after lap 1 and 2, where it was a bit messy. But yeah, it seems to have calmed down, at least wheel to wheel. I mean, we've said that, we've probably just jinxed it now, haven't we? But I mean, I'm just wondering, Lawrence needs to try and overtake all 4 of these cars, and then, ideally for him, also catch up to Lennart Decker's. I think the maximum he can hope for is P2.
Yeah, but equally I'd say P2 is a pretty decent result for the Aston Martin, all things considered. The McLaren of Nico Rassenberg once again applying pressure. A bit of a squeeze there from Jerem as they head in towards turn 14, and it's going to be deep on the brakes. Rassenberg maybe going to get 2 for the price of 1 here. Can't quite get the V-carb. Got his nose just briefly alongside the rear wheels, but he does get the move done on Jerem. Lawrence is now into this battle as well. He is only a 1/10 of a second off as we head through the final corner. Now this could be a chance for some moves. Here goes Sinar around the outside of Jerem into towards turn 1, but I think we're almost going 3 wide here as Sinan now trying it around Rasenberg as well. Lawrence tried to make the move on Jarem here in towards turn 3 and 4. He's going to get squeezed to the inside, but he's still got the grip to try and push his way through. Nathan Pullein also trying to follow through as we now run down towards turn 5. All these cars suddenly catching. We're going to go 3 wide heading onto the brakes. Surely this won't end well. 2 Alpines. We've got chaos here as they now find their way through. Somehow they've made it through turn 5 though without too much issue. In towards the Mickey Mouse chicane. Nathan Pullein going to try around the outside of Uma. Tom 97 as well getting into this scrap. The Sauber squeezes his way through, the Alpine losing the car, and Tom 97 now going to find his way through potentially as well as they head on towards the next straight.
This is incredible. I don't think there's even been that much contact. They've been, every time they've come close to contact, they've kind of just half spun out of the way of each other. But in all of that, Lawrence only gaining 1 position. Oh, there's contact between the Alpine and the Ferrari heading into turn 12. And Lawrence going to have the DRS on Sinan, but crucially, Rasenberg has it on Pesci and should easily get past up into P4.
Yeah, move done there for the McLaren driver. He'll hope he can hold on to it this time around, though. Given all the drivers behind on those medium tyres, going to suddenly start to apply that pressure. I mean, we saw how quickly it came about on the previous lap. So many cars bunched together as they made their way into turn 5. The fact that nobody picked up any damage there is extremely impressive for all these drivers. Just shows their skill level as we now make our way through. Yeah, down the inside, Uma and Tom 97 also battling, and Numa's his round. The Alpine losing out on the inside there. I think maybe some contact, finally some contact between these drivers. Tom 97 continues on unharmed as a result of that. I think maybe just a small mistake on the brakes there. Hard to tell exactly from what we saw. But we continue on now. Lawrence is in P7 with just a handful of laps left to go. Is there enough time to make enough moves to get him to the podium? He needs about to move a lap, and that should see him through, but he's got a lot of cars behind. Pesci with a penalty as well. That is unfortunate stuff. Tom 97 looking to the inside of Nathan Pullein, trying to find his way through. He knows he's got to be feisty if he wants to get his way through this train into a chance for a podium. Not going to come about that time around, as Umut has, I think, gone round again in the Mickey Mouse section. We have cleared those yellow flags now. Jeremy absolutely flying away. We haven't really talked about him at all. He's 5 seconds clear now out at the front of the field. This win looks signed, sealed and secured for him at this moment.
Vettel about to get past Jarem as well. If you remember when I said Jarem is probably going to get the win, I think I stand corrected there. But Victor Garcia re-overtaking Leonard Deckers for P2 on the road. Pesci getting back ahead of Nico Rasenberg as well. But this is ideal for, well, everybody but Lawrence here. Because Lawrence is trying to push through this train, but they just keep DRS swapping in the front and nobody can get close enough at the minute. So, although, here comes Tom 97 on Nathan Pullein into turn 1. Can Tom 97 make the move on the Sauber? He has the inside and he's got it ahead there and up into P8. So, brilliant race from Tom 97. I think, he started P16, I want to say? Yeah, he's up 7 positions, started P15.
Lana and Pesci up 10 positions respectively. Each of those big gains here in this race, and the drivers really making it work here as we come towards the final few laps. Lawrence battling away with Sinar, now trying to find his way through. This is going to be a crucial move as he fights his way through the train, getting the elbows out, feisty stuff. Here, there's contact. They come together. Lawrence is into the barriers, and that's going to allow Tom 97 through. That is crucial stuff in this race. Tom 97, now your lead driver on the medium tyres, and that is so costly for the Aston Martin driver. It looked like there was a chance for a podium here tonight, but that's probably going to seal the deal for him. He is now down outside of the points. Can he try and fight back here? I'm not too sure, but Tom 97 now going to be filled with hope at a potential podium here to kick off season 22.
I mean, it was inevitable, wasn't it? There was just a disaster waiting to happen, and in the end, both drivers just pushing too hard, and they're both in the barrier. Neither one wanted to yield. Neither one really had to yield, but yeah, now this is perfect for Tom 97. He's on the better tyres compared to the 2 cars ahead, and even if he just finishes ahead of Nico Rasenberg, he's on the podium due to the penalties for Victor Garcia and Pesci. But yeah, his main target now is to finish 4th on track.
Well, I guess he would hope to finish third on track if he could somehow catch up to Lennart, although I think that is highly unlikely unless we see a big mistake from the Red Bull driver. He seems to be just about coping on those hard compound tyres. Hopefully the tyre wear not too bad. He's done 15 laps now on those tyres, which is how long we saw Tom 97 go, but he's still got 3 more laps left to do on those tyres. Hopefully it's not too bad for the wear. Hopefully he isn't going to be at risk of a puncture. Otherwise that could spell disaster for his P2 finish, which is looking pretty safe at the moment as well. But here we go onto the strip once again. Tom 97 now 0.4 of a second off the back of Pesci, who's half a second. Make that 0.7. There's a mistake there for the V-Carb driver. I think he's lost a lot of time on the exit. This could be the chance for Tom 97. Nathan Poulan is pushing through as well. There's going to be a battle here between the two medium riders in contention for the podium potentially as we head towards the braking zone. Not quite getting close just yet, but Nathan Poulan pulling over to the inside line. Is he going to think about a move? I don't think so this time around. Just tucks in behind. 2 more laps of racing left to come to decide who will get that final spot on the podium. Can Rasenberg hang on, or can Tom 97 or Poulan pull through and try and secure that on the alternative strategy?
I mean, it's certainly going to be tricky all the way to the end. It is just flat out racing. Oh, mistake there from Pesci. He's run wide, and that is going to allow Tom 97 the chance to get through. And unfortunately, for Tom that is, Pesci has just managed to defend it, and now Nathan Poulan is going to go for the move and gets ahead into P6.
And all of a sudden, in one snap of the fingers, everything turns on its head. Now Tom is going to have a car who's on pretty much equal tyres. In fact, it's 1 lap all the tyres for the Sauber. But yeah, it's going to be a tough fight now if he wants to try and get this one. And now all of a sudden, the cards are in the hand of Nathan. He has the opportunity here, heading on towards the final laps of this race to try and pick up the positions. Nico Rasenberg has got the V-Carb to help defend him as well. That car between himself and the medium runners might just be his saving grace here as we head now onto the strip. Pesci getting a slightly better exit this time around compared to the previous laps, and that might be enough to keep himself ahead here. But can Nathan do anything here? He wants to try and give himself that chance to fight with Nico on the final lap of the race. But I think he's going to save his battery for that last lap dash. Gaining on the V-Carb, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. Heading onto the brace, he is going to sit behind. Tom 97 has dropped a long way back as well.
Yeah, I think Tom kind of pushed, everything to the limit to try and get ahead of Pesci and Nico, and unfortunately it has come back to bite him here. But it's not over yet. It's the famous, paraphrase or quote for motorsport, isn't it? It's never over until the line. Well, really until after the stewards' inquiries, but
hopefully we're not going to see too much from them.
Yeah, I don't imagine we will. Maybe for Lawrence and Sinan, but Rasenberg just has to hold on here.
The gaps are coming down though, 0.2 of a second between Rasenberg and Pesci, 0.3 between Poulan and Pesci as well, as we make our way through past the sphere. For the final time here, it's been a dominant drive really from Jeremy. He's 5.5 seconds clear of the next closest car, who with a 10-second penalty is going to drop outside of the points, I think, potentially. Might just about be able to hang on. It's going to be a little bit close between him and Thunderino. But yeah, here we go in towards Las Vegas Boulevard for the final time. Pesci not getting a great run. Poulan trying almost to push him through there. That might give Tom 97 a chance here on the final lap to try and snatch that position back. But I don't think the car is going to be close enough for too many overtakes here. Tom 97 burning that battery. Thomas Bowser picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. He's down in P16. Towards the braking zone we go. Tom 97 looking to the outside on the Sauber. They're not going to get close enough for the battle for the podium. But this battle for P4 on the track, not quite able to work out for Tom 97. Jeremy does take victory here on the streets of Las Vegas. A dominant drive from him. Victor Garcia comes across the line in second, but it'll be Lennart Deckers who takes P2 up to the line. Things getting extremely close there. Nathan picks up the P4. Vettel snipes Tom 97 by 0.005 of a second on the line. An incredibly close finish. Victor does hang on to points in P9 though. A terrible turn of events for him. He will be really upset with that time penalty. But what a finish we've had here on the streets of Vegas. Jeremy driving away 7.3 seconds. He wins the first race by then. It looked like he had pole position well and truly secured up until that mistake at the end of qualifying. He could have been on pole by a couple tenths as well. It has been an extremely dominant drive by the McLaren driver. McLaren 1-3 as well. They're going to be extremely happy with that result. The alternative strategy, though, do you think maybe they'll look back and say that it wasn't the right call? I mean, they gained quite a lot of positions as a result of that. I think overall, it probably was the right call for them starting that far down.
Starting that far down, yes, but in a pure, head-to-head race, the alternate strategy, the hard medium, is actually quicker. The main factor is getting past everybody who's on the medium hard, and that is ultimately what cost the alternate runners, is that they just couldn't overtake enough cars quick enough, and then like Lawrence got involved in incidents. So, yeah, unfortunate. They'll definitely look back at it and maybe for Silverstone take a different approach.
Yeah, well, I think ultimately it just comes down to the qualifying positions. Unfortunately, we have got a black screen here. I don't think we're going to get to see the results. But yeah, Jeremy, extremely dominant drive. 7 seconds to P2, 10 seconds to P3. He was a pit stop ahead of the drivers who were finishing at the bottom end of the points. That's just how strong his pace was here tonight. And I think he's going to be extremely proud of that race result and the 25 points that he will be taking away with him. I don't think we are going to get to see some results, unfortunately. But what a race we've had here. I think incredible stuff that we've seen. And I will have a quick look. I'm not sure if we will get any interviews at all.
Normally we ping them and ask them.
Yeah,
I'll just do that
we'll have
now.
a quick look and see if anybody does want to get in.
Jeremy, Leonard and Nico.
Wait to see if anybody does want those interviews.
Give them a couple minutes.
Yeah, we'll let them jump in if they do. But overall, I think, all things considered, probably better than we were potentially expecting heading into this race. We had a very exciting strategy battle at the end of that one, and a very competitive grid as well. I think all the drivers should be pretty happy with how that, well, most of the drivers at least. I think a couple of drivers going to be upset with maybe how things turned out come the end of that one. But overall, I think most of the drivers having quite a good race there.
Yeah, I think the main drivers that will probably be upset with that is probably Umut. With the spin, he ended up finishing last on track, 20 seconds off the back of the pack. Lawrence, who could have well got on the podium, but unfortunately, obviously, it will need to be watched back and everything, but maybe just not affording Sinan enough room there on the exit of turn 9. I think Jeremy, though, perfect race. I don't think he could have done anything more apart from getting pole position. And it did seem like he just ran out of fuel, unfortunately, which is a rookie error. But his race was flawless.
Yeah, he had that one mistake, I think, around lap 8, where he was about 3.5 seconds clear, then dropped to about a second and a bit clear. He did have that small mistake, I think, where he had a bit of an off going onto the strip. But yeah, other than that, absolutely flawless drive from him here tonight. I don't think there was much he could have done to really improve on that one. I think as well, big shout out to Leonard with that strategy. If we do get him in for a chat, I think it's something we should talk about. He did 18 laps on the hard compound tyres. He pitted on lap 7. And as a result, managed to undercut himself to be a couple seconds clear come the end of that race. The fact he kept those tyres alive, I think, as well, an incredibly impressive feat by him. But yeah, overall, really great job by him. Rasenberg as well, defending on those final laps. We do have Leonard waiting for a quick chat, so we could drag him in a second.
Yeah, we're not getting Nico, so we can drag Leonard in for P2. I shall do that now. Hello, Leonard.
Hello.
So, do you want to start, Josh?
Yeah, well, P2 for yourself coming out of that race. A bit of a different strategy compared to everyone else, going for that undercut. How are you feeling after that one, first and foremost?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, quali was really bad, but yeah, I tried something different with the strat to yeah, get the best result as possible.
Yeah, so you did 7 laps on the mediums, pit for that undercut. Were you feeling confident when you went for that pit stop? Did you think there was a chance that you'd be able to jump yourself up the order, or were you worried at all about the tyres getting to the end of that race?
I mean, I knew that I would jump some people, but at the same time I was a bit concerned with my tires. But I mean, in the end it worked out, so yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, anything from you, Ryan?
With the tyres towards the end, just how bad was it on the WOR? Was it like puncture territory, or was it still somewhat comfortable?
Yeah, I looked the MFD on the last lap, and then I think I was at 80%. So I took the last chicane pretty carefully. Yeah, because I mean, P2 had a 10-second penalty. I had a big enough gap to Nico, so yeah, I could slow down a little bit to save the tires.
Yeah, and overall, coming out second with a slightly suboptimal qualifying, I think you should be pretty proud of this race.
Yeah, I am, because the first steps I was thinking like I can't overtake anybody, and then I knew I would have to do something pretty special. But yeah, I mean it worked out, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with the race.
Anything else left from you, Ryan?
No.
All right, and heading into Silverstone, any hopes there? Do you think it's going to be a track you're going to run strong at?
No, Silverstone is a track where I normally am not that fast, so yeah, I don't think I have any good chances there.
All right, well, best of luck to yourself anyway. Hopefully, with a little bit of practice, maybe you can find your way up the order there as well and try and pick up another decent result.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem. Best of luck to yourself.
Thanks.
I don't think we're going to get anyone else. I've had no response from Jeremy, and Rasenberg has no time. So I think that is it.
Yeah, well, I think ultimately, all the drivers, really great race from you guys. It's my first time doing commentary on a WR broadcast as well. Been a great pleasure. I think, Ryan, you've had a great time here tonight as well.
Yeah.
Overall, great race. I think we're really happy with this one. So we will see you next week in Silverstone for another week's action. I think we will also be jumping over now to the Tier 2 broadcast and see how they are getting on here on the streets of Vegas as well. But thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the channel. Leave a like as well. And yeah, let's head over to the Tier 2 broadcast and see how they're getting on. Thank you, Oli, for tonight. And yeah, we'll see you next week.